Hey everyone, I'm making a new Beatles Fiinds video, and I think you're going to be happy, some of you who like colored vinyl out there, and I know Beatle Brad loves colored vinyl, because I got a few of them here on colored vinyl. And the first one I want to show is very perplexing, and I'll explain the story to you as we go along. It's a Barnes& Noble exclusive album that is out now, and I have not been able to get this in my store. I ordered it online. But I know from looking at the internet that a lot of you out there who are fans managed to get a copy of this at your local Barnes& Noble shops. And it's Ringos Rotogravure. Nobody knows quite how to say it exactly right, but that's how I'm saying it. This particular one has no Barnes& Noble hype sticker on it. It came in the mail just like this, and I'm going to shut this down. Maybe help a little, not much. Uh, and although you can't really tell by looking at it here, this is really a little darker than it should be. The artwork on the back of this always had a very interesting idea. This was like a door with a lot of stuff about the Beatles scrawled on it and written all over it. But to my eyes, anyway, this is a little darker than the original 1976 version that came out. So you really can't read a lot of the writing on here. It's a gatefold, and at this point I've decided not to take off the shrink. You can see what the inside looks like when you watch the regular album cover from 1976, and a lot of good photographs in there, I must say. This is a Friday music version. You know, they've been issuing Ringo's albums like the Bad Boy album, and they're going to be coming out with the album that followed this one from 1977, which is none other than Ringo the Fourth. Now, here's the situation. It's a very weird thing that I'm not sure I understand. Everybody who's been getting this album online and showing their photographs all have been getting green vinyl. And it's very surprising because this is advertised on the Barnes& Noble site as being exclusive red vinyl. Why is everybody getting green? Everybody's getting green vinyl. And I started seeing a lot of photographs. Why would it be green if they're advertising it in red? It seems to be a misprint. Well, I kept thinking about it more and more and decided for some reason to me, this particular album seems to be very suited to green. I think like Ringo the Fourth album is more like a red vinyl type of album. This one seems suited to be more of a green color wax. So I was happy with the green, and I said, well, I don't mind getting green, if that's the case. In fact, I prefer green. So what happens? You guessed it. I get the red. I'm the only person that I know so far who has actually gotten the red vinyl for this, as advertised in all the ads or the online descriptions, whatnot, for this Ringos Rotogravure album. I have no idea why that is, but it is what it is. Let me know out there, any of you who have this album, what the deal is for you. Did anybody out there get a red one? Is this a real odd item? Or maybe all you people who are getting the green in the long run will be the ones who have a rarity on your hands. I don't know. This is the inner sleeve, though. I will show you that. It's the same as the 1976 release, with the lyrics and photos of Ringo on it, with one interesting exception. It seems to be, I'm pretty sure the original one was a very chintzy paper sleeve that could tear easily. This is more of a slick, little harder type of paper. So this is a nicer inner sleeve even than the original. So at least that's something. Okay. Next up is an interesting item. This is a Revolver album. I believe it's from Brazil. And I don't usually go crazy these days buying a lot of Beatles albums that are just from different countries so much, unless the cover is radically different. And this one's not really that radically different. Of course, it's got some foreign language on there. Whether you can read it, I don't know. And this is a monocopy. But the reason I decided to go with it was because it's on Odeon, and also I really kind of like this vinyl, which is kind of a white marble vinyl, and you can't really see the streaks in it so well on video. Maybe on that angle you can. I thought, yeah, okay, this is really interesting item. And of course, this is not a 60s press or anything. This is probably an 80s, I'm guessing, or later. 70s, 80s. Again, it's one of those things, easily you can look it up, but I'll let you people have fun with that. But I just thought it was nice enough that I would go ahead and pick it up for myself. Okay, next item up is a Paul McCartney album. You know, a while ago, Paul McCartney put out, and he's still putting out, as you know, a lot of his catalog through Capitol Records on colored vinyl. He's putting all his albums out on colored vinyl, and I decided I don't want to get them all. I can't get them all. I may change that if they're cheap enough. This price was reduced to $19.99. This was only $20. These things were going, I think, in the 30s when they first came out, late 20s, 30s. So I figured, you know what? I'll do this one. It's Pipes of Peace, his 1983 album. It's on colored vinyl, and this particular album is on silver, and it's not just silver, but it's got that kind of you know, swirly, smeary design, silver wax. So for that price, I could be persuaded for $20 or so. Don't want to buy everything for 30. I should have mentioned, going back to the Ringo album that I showed just before. The Ringo album was a ridiculously high price. I mean, between shipping, ordering it online, and shipping and tax and everything, it was like, I'll be honest with you, $39. So let the eggs fly now. I mean, that's a lot of money. But I wanted to have it. Okay. I swore again, I'm not going to go crazy collecting every variation, but there was a really nice copy of Meet the Beatles that was really pretty sharp. So, I mean, if I see an album by the Beatles, a pressing that's really beautiful looking, I'm going to pick it up. This one is an Apple pressing. So, I got it on Apple. And it kind of reminds me of the early days when I was really collecting albums in the kind of early 70s, early into the mid 70s. I got a lot of these on Apple. My first copies when I was collecting were Apple presses for the most part. Let's see. Also, I picked up the Beatles Rock and Roll Music, and this was a pretty nice shape copy, in good condition. Now I have this already, but my copy is sealed. It's a sealed copy, and it has an actual hype sticker on it, which is really cool. So it's more of a museum piece. This one is a playing copy. This one is the one I'll have to play. And of course, we all know how a lot of people do not like the artwork here. You got those two clumsy thumbs in the corners, and the rock and roll looks like Happy Days. Happy Days was very big then, and Happy Days and cars with the fins and the cheeseburgers. It looks like the 50s. But I cut it some slack. I mean, rock and roll was the 50s. I don't know why everybody gets so upset about it, including the Beatles themselves. And we all know how John Lennon offered to do a cover himself, and maybe even offer the cover that became, I think, something like from the Rock and Roll Sessions. The Rock and Roll album was released before this, John Lennon's Rock and Roll. But, and then you look at the label, and a lot of people complain. That's so 50s with the Coca-Cola, the straw. What is that all about? But I've always liked the design of this record, and as I said in the video, somewhere along the line, I made a video, I think, just talking about this album exclusively. This was released in the days when I was really becoming a real serious collector. So I was really happy to have this. And this is the album that, for a lot of people around my age, that really helped them listen to some of the songs they hadn't heard yet. Up to this point, when this was released in '76, I wasn't that familiar with the White Album and Let It Be and stuff like that. So I was real happy at the time to get this. It kind of ushered me into some of the heaviest songs, Helter Skelter, Hey Bulldog, stuff like that. Last thing here is just the old typical standby Beatles Live at the Star Club at Hamburg, Germany. When you see the green here, you know it's a German copy. Now I have this already, but this was really a sparkling copy. My copy, I don't even think it was as nice as this. It's really nice. So I went ahead and picked it up. If the price is right, I'm all for upgrading. I got a little ding there, okay, a tiny little ding. But other than that, I'm all for upgrading. It's better than the copy that I had. And one last thing I want to show you all before you sign off, don't go yet, is a 45. The Beatles on Apple. And it's Hey Jude and Revolution, but the reason I picked it up, I thought it was kind of awkward in a good way. I mean, there's Hey Jude, the Beatles. You can see how thick the letters are. That's bizarre. I've never seen Hey Jude look that bold for a 45. Now, somewhere back there I have one of the many excellent books by Bruce Spicer, The Beatles on Apple. Can always peruse this afterwards and look and see what the deal is, why the letter's so thick there. But I thought it was a curio. For just a couple of bucks, why not pick it up? And that's it, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave your comments and we'll talk.